Mansfield's Melbourne, proudly brought to you by Choice Dry Cleaners for the removal of stains, spots and blemishes. Opposite Safeway in Walpole Street, Kew.
Well, this is it, Christy. 100 shows under the belt.
Oh, well done.
Eh? 100 shows. And you've been in it since day one, haven't you?
I have.
Is Dad going to call me when he's ready?
I hope so.
When are we on? In a couple of minutes, I suppose.
I think so. How's that?
That's fine.
Mansfield.
That's good.
60 seconds, thank you, Mr. Mansfield.
Who's that? Is it a very effeminate type of person? Thank you, Christy. Thanks for the 100 shows.
Hi, Mr. Mansfield.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
Not bad, thanks.
No, you were in the show from day one,
I
weren't
have
you?
been in the show from day one.
Yeah.
This episode today?
Indeed, indeed. Who's on the show?
Oh, we've got a heap of people.
That's terrific. That looks great. It's a typical running sheet for the show. Good on you, Andrew. Thanks for your help. Andrew has helped both behind cameras and also directing the show for the 100 episodes, which was terrific. Thanks a lot. And hello, how are you? Oh, by the way, I didn't say hello to Carl. How are you, Carl?
Congratulations, Mr.
Oh, I thought I was going to get a kiss. Look round and show your grandmother your face. Now, Warwick, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you, Bruce?
Are you directing?
I'm Mr. Mansfield.
What are you doing out here then?
I'm vision directing, yes.
Good, all right. Well, I better make my way to the old set, eh? Just help me with that What?
Good evening and welcome to Brady's Melbourne. It's very good to have your company. It's so nice to see you. I've been looking forward to this occasion.
You mean
Hello,
to
buttocks.
tell me? This is the surprise of my life. How
Well,
are
I'm
you?
sure it is, but I didn't want to miss this auspicious occasion.
Oh, well, it's lovely
And on
to see
behalf of all of Melbourne, we do salute you and congratulate you on 100 shows. Quite a milestone.
Well, it is, isn't it?
I tried to be here on your birthday show back in April, but unfortunately it was Chundarama time for me.
Well, I wouldn't have quite said that.
I just couldn't make it on that occasion, but we've made up for it today.
I just wonder if that Chundarama is just an excuse not to come in here.
No, look, there's nowhere I would rather be. It's my day off, it's a Friday night, but that's okay by me.
No, it's a Wednesday night. Speaking of Chundarama...
I was told it was Friday at the end of the week.
Well, when is it, Ash? What
It's
is
Friday.
today? Oh,
It's Friday. See, I'm right after all. I'm in control.
Now listen to me.
Which is my close-up camera.
No, there is no close-ups. 3, in actual fact.
Tell me what happens here. And what time do you let the audience in?
There's no audience. We do it live, we do it solo, this is it.
Yes, but it's very Melbourne, isn't it? And you are very Melbourne. I mean, you were born here in Holden Street, North Fitzroy. Your mother packed dynamite during the war, I remember.
Yes, she did.
I was nervous too.
Yes. And my father was an air raid warden.
Yes, but on whose side?
Germany. And
what happens here? I know you only have half an hour to sort of win everybody away.
No, today, thanks to Optus and Mark McAuliffe, we're doing a whole 60-minute look at the 100 shows.
Oh, well deserved. I'm sure you got some nice little clips from the last 10 weeks I'm off.
Well, there hasn't been much in the last 5 minutes, but thanks for coming along.
And look what I've worn. Just
last yellow jacket.
This has a history, folks. This is the Olympic jacket which I wore to Los Angeles in 1984 for the 23rd Olympiad with my own patch.
Didn't you go around with Lorraine Crapp in an open car?
No, Betty Cuthbert,
that's
actually.
right,
Betty Cuthbert and Dick Wicks, they organised a stretch limo for me.
That'd be last year's.
Before the opening ceremony, which was produced by Rick Birch,
oh, good mate of yours, yes.
we went right around the LA Coliseum in an open car, waving to everybody in the grandstand.
Queen Salotti.
Yes, it was a wonderful experience. The best 10 days of my life, the LA Olympics.
In milestones, as we're celebrating today the 100 shows, I must say we're very proud to be celebrating 7 years together, almost to the day, on 3AW.
Yes, we are on radio. We are like Siamese twins, aren't we? You would swear we were joined at the hip.
I wouldn't go that far, but
no, but there's an empathy there,
don't you? You sort of take over a bit.
There's an empathy there, isn't there? There's a rapport there, a chemistry,
well,
which I hope works on
get a word in.
Which I hope works on television too. I must say today, my thanks, my thanks to Tony White, Dandenong, for the wonderful new Daewoo that I'm driving, the Daewoo Cielo.
Come on. You cannot come onto this program and use it as contra corner.
But I have christened the car today.
What?
And it's
is
just
it
beautiful. It's a
well, if there's
nifty
any
little
cars
sporty little Daewoo Cielo.
If there's any cars mentioned, 3-point motors. Q and Heidelberg
I've seen
Road
your
30.
aerial, I've seen your bent aerial. What did you
see
do?
that?
Was that a car wash?
I went into the BP service station in South Melbourne on the way here.
You've bent
and
it.
I'm sitting there listening to the 2AW.
You should have turned your radio off.
And it curled up in the brushes.
I know, I've seen it. Oh, 3-point motors. There's some mud flaps now. The car aerial. There'll be no end to it.
And so 7 years almost to the day on radio, Phil and I have been doing Nightline, and I don't think there's been one night that we haven't enjoyed it.
No, I can't remember one tiff. Can you? Oh, there might have been a couple of
There
occasions.
was one.
Where it got a bit nasty. But we've survived that, haven't we? I feel I'm on the Jolly Carson
Well,
show.
you are. It's as close
It
to
must
Carson
be
as
the
you'll ever get.
microphone that makes me think of it.
You haven't put a sock in it since I got
I
in
just
here.
thought to be back on television, everybody. Hi, how are you? This could be a whole new ball game for me.
Well, it's not.
What normally comes on after you? I could do something at 6:30 every night.
Darts, Macedonian darts,
That'd be
and there's a
adorable.
Chinese show. Sometimes it's on.
By the way, when I next go overseas, I plan to fly Lauda Airlines and do all my bookings through Croydon Travel. Is that all right?
I think it's marvellous. It's wonderful. Listen, how's Luke?
He's doing well, thank you. We had a major operation last week. This is my Weimaraner. We might insert a shot of him at a later date for our viewers.
He's producing the show now.
And but he had a massive tumour the size of a football
Oh, all right.
on his spleen. Well, it happens to people too.
Yeah,
Now
but we don't talk about it generally at tea time.
tumour is out, and he's 4 kilograms lighter. Can you
all right,
imagine
I don't want to hear
what
about it.
Well,
That
you
makes me
asked.
absolutely sick.
you asked.
I just said, how is he? And you normally just say, fine, thank you. I don't want to go
Well,
into
he's not
tumours and
fine.
footballs.
He's not fine.
When-
But he's going to be all right, thanks
you
to
having
Dr.
your-
Mark Glyde of the University of Melbourne, Werribee Division, who did the surgery, and we're just waiting now on the results, obviously, whether it's benign or malignant. But we should know that next Friday night. We could do Pet's Corner every
It's
Friday
one
night.
long contra deal. I
Do you
can't
do-
talk to you without a
Do
contra.
you do a pet segment on the show?
No, we
Or-
haven't. We
Or
might
more
tonight.
importantly, a travel segment?
Yeah, that's a good
Oh, I
point.
can see the world opening up here.
Actually, we could bring the Croydon Travel Man in and do a
Phil Asker, yes.
a
Absolutely.
travel
He won't
segment.
be as funny as I am, but still.
Well, it's been terrific. Yeah. How long have we? Is that it?
That's the whole show.
Yeah. Well, that's the hour gone.
Thank you very much. On a serious note, you should be very proud. If your mother was still alive, I know you should be very proud.
Well, she wouldn't be here.
And you are one of the few people who are equally at ease on radio or television.
Oh, thanks.
And I think Optus 50 are very lucky to have you.
Thanks very much, Phil. I wasn't born for television. Sometimes I think I don't have the talent for it, or the looks, or the timing. It's. What did you do?
No, you're right. No, but this builds confidence.
I see.
And this could lead to something.
I sometimes look at myself back and think I haven't got it.
Yeah, so do we. But still, that's it. That's showbiz.
What have I got that people are attracted to?
I don't know. Perhaps money?
Don't you talk about money. You've got the first quid you ever earned, Philip. You are the lousiest person I have ever met.
Do you know, I still have the first dollar that
I know.
I ever earned.
I can believe it.
I just don't believe in blowing it, you know, Bruce. If you've got it, keep it.
But everything is a tax deduction, isn't it?
Including this appearance, believe me.
Well, we do
This
that.
is on my tax return, appearing on Optus 50 with Mansfield's Melbourne. Oh, this is a write-off, believe me.
That is disgraceful.
But anyway, I'm sure, what else is happening on the show today? Is
Well,
this as
not
good as
much.
is this as good as it gets?
Well, you give me the cue and then I can answer it.
Well, okay, I certainly will. What's the show all about tonight, Bruce?
Well, camera one, it is the 100th show, and I'm very proud of it. We've done so much, Ash and the whole crew here, in interviews and bringing a lot of warmth and happiness into many people's homes. And we're going to celebrate this occasion by going back to the first show, episode 1 of the 100 shows.
Oh, Jellay was in that, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. You've got a good memory. Did you see that?
Yes, you sang that night, didn't you? And didn't know the words.
Oh, yes.
Do you
That's
recall?
right. Have a look at this. Good evening and welcome to the first edition of Mansfield's Melbourne. A chance to look at what's making news around Melbourne, in your backyard, the local people, the people that are doing things, different things. In tonight's program, we meet journalist Dan Webb and talk about the days of Channel 7 and 3DB. We'll find out about a new milk made from oats. We'll look at picket fences and how they're coming into the suburbs in a big way. Scuba diving down on the coast. We'll visit this week's Lilydale Regatta and visit the Knox area with real estate man Martin Pettit. And later we'll look at 3AW's fabulous history through the eyes of veteran Jeff Mannion, who has heard on 3AW for many years. But first, tonight on the show, a star of early Melbourne television, Sunny Side Up, stage and theatre productions, and years of award-winning TV at Cooper's Crossing with the Flying Doctors, Val Jellay. Welcome to Mansfield's Melbourne.
Oh, lovely to see you.
How are you, Val? Lovely to have you here.
Isn't this good fun? You've got all your mates hovering around you, giving you all support.
Including you.
But we all love you.
Oh, thank you very much, Val.
G-Bug, it's good to be here. Frankly, I feel right at home.
Great memories there from show one, and thank you very much for coming in and hosting that part of the show, Phil.
Look, it's been a pleasure, Bruce. I have to leave you now. I have to go to Branson's Meats and buy some marrowbone jelly for Luke. I also have an appointment with Bob Stewart's Menswear in High Street Q. I think I need some new accessories.
You need
and
new
not
clothes.
before time. Also, I'm going to have some supper in the Hollywood Deli,
right. Okay.
Which is next to the Q police station.
That's it, thanks.
And as I leave you, you'll hear me roaring off in my Tony White Daewoo. That's my Daewoo Cielo from Tony White of Dandenong.
Righto, thank you very
and
much.
good luck to you, and here's to the next 100 shows,
Good on you,
Bruce.
Phil. Thank you very much indeed. Good of you to come in. And over the past 100 years, or it seems like 100 years.
It does since I arrived.
Yes.
You've aged since I arrived, I've noticed.
And I think I need more mane. Over the past 100 episodes, more than 600 guests. And if you stretch the videotape of this program from those 100 episodes, it would go from Melbourne to Uranus, wouldn't it? That's the length of the tape. Phil?
Yes, well, I would have said Mars this week because of the probe, the NASA probe. Although you're really not much into the space program,
the space program.
Do you wish the astronauts stranded on the Mir space station well? You know, they're
to them?
short of oxygen. They have no electricity. They can't use the loo, and they've been stranded in space, it seems, for 2 weeks.
Oh dear, that's bad.
But we
they'd have
wish
doctors
them
up there, wouldn't
Godspeed,
they?
don't we?
They have doctors up there?
Well, I doubt it. No, there's just 4 Russians floating around in space, and
I know, we do
things are pretty critical,
Our
you know.
prayers are with them tonight.
Yes, and for Luke too, you know,
He's
that
got
his
up there too.
cyst proves to be
I
benign.
don't want to hear on radio or any other time about that dog or
You are jealous of Luke, really?
I'm not at all jealous.
Yes, you think the
I think
time I
it's
spent
unhealthy
with
for
my
a man
mutt.
to live with a dog and sleep with a dog. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say that now.
Yes, you even think it's almost a police matter, don't you? Well, I'm ashamed.
Let's look back at the 600 guests over 100 episodes of Mansfield's Melbourne that have entertained us every night at 6. Well, tonight our very first guest, and it's lovely to have him with us, a good friend of mine, Dan Webb from Channel 7, 3DB, This Day Tonight, Video Village.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bruce, it's a thrill to be here.
You said to me, this is a bit like the early days of Channel 7.
It's just like the early days, except the sets don't fall over.
Yeah. Well, did they ever fall over for you?
Oh, yeah. No, not for me, but there was a man called John Hanson who came from the Little Theatre, known as St Martin's, I think now.
Right.
But in those days it was the Little Theatre, and they brought him in specially to train all the scene shifters.
Yes.
And he was a disaster. he used to walk around with a stopwatch, timing these poor blokes. And of course they were in such a hurry and so frightened of John Hanson, the sets were constantly falling over. And on open...
An old mate of mine, and welcome to Mansfield's Melbourne, Bruce Ruxton. Hello, Bruce. How are you?
Bruce.
Good to see you. Looking very relaxed on Tuesday night.
Yes, I know that. Well, I've got to be relaxed sometimes.
I know you do.
Yes,
I
you
know.
blokes make me nervy sometimes.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be ever like that with me. About Melbourne, Bruce, were you born and bred here?
Yes, and I was brought up at Kew, in Kew. So I went to the Kew State School, East Kew Central School, and later Melbourne High School.
Yeah,
But, famous street in Kew.
The Beatles. Do you ever get tired of being asked about the Beatles?
Yes, I do.
Do you? Oh, I won't talk about them.
Right, you get a better interview if you don't talk too much about the Beatles.
Yes, just briefly. Amazing. I remember. Do you remember that day when that happened?
Oh, that was terrific.
Yeah.
One of the best. We've had a lot of good episodes, haven't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, but quirky things, unusual people.
Do you remember the time where we had the people in from Ultimate Face and the lady with the device to put that pricks in the woman's skin?
Can we see a few of those things?
Okay, let's go to it now.
Let's have a look. Times when it doesn't work.
Well, a surgical facelift will only last between 1 and 5 years, depending on the client's lifestyle, hereditary factors, and of course it's a major operation having a facelift.
How do you feel, Val? What are you feeling there?
All I can feel is a tightening of the muscle, as if I was squinting my eye, and that's about all. There's no other real sensation.
And how long do you stay in that position? Not you, Val.
Oh, right. I usually work on the eyes 10 minutes each eye,
10 minutes, right.
depending on the client's preference.
Right.
To tighten this, to work into the corner here, because I can't probe under here because it's a very delicate area.
Right.
And our nose grows as continually as we age. So to tighten this muscle here and also lift here, I put the probes in here. And that, actually I'll just turn those around.
And no feeling, Valmay, of any, just tingling?
That's a strange sort of tingling feeling.
Now, how long? Let's talk about this control that you have here. It's called In-Control Personal Incontinence Treatment System. How does that work?
Well, that means that you learn to be in control of your bladder instead of your bladder being in control of you. One of the other big problems is the urge when people have to go in a big hurry, and that can be very confining for people.
All right.
This is a little unit which actually puts in a small electrical impulse which settles down the nerve pathways that give somebody the urge to go.
Yeah, and is this the system that we have here?
Yes, this is the little box.
Where would I stick that?
You would just put that on your belt or on the bed or on the table, and it is connected up to you with a lead and 2 patches.
Right.
Or for ladies, there's a different arrangement.
Right. And so,
for example, if that held strong, which it held fairly strong when I gave firm pressure there, if I was to turn the muscle response around this way, you hold that in. I'm going to push it down and out. This is testing the energy imbalances in the stomach. What did you eat for lunch?
an egg.
An egg. So perhaps not. Eggs may or may not be a problem for Bruce. To correct, one of the ways to correct that would be to simply...
What's wrong with me before I go any further? Is it because I had the egg, or aren't I pushing hard enough?
Well, no, it's not a strength test. It's whether the muscles lock in a response, depending on, you use leg muscles and arm muscles. Then you would identify touching different points on the body to see what would strengthen that, what would change that. So what I'm looking for is for this to remain in a strong response. Now I could come up to a point and give him a little bit of a tickle in here,
I think I love
which is a lymphatic.
Do you remember that? When the lady Jenny Beasley had you by the hands like a vice.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at some of the big names now.
Well, who was our first guest?
Our first guest was Dan Webb.
Yeah.
Timed for 5 but went for 9 minutes.
That's right. Could he talk? Wouldn't shut him up. Can we have a look?
And they were filming the Tivoli show, or it went live. Of course, they didn't film. There's no way of recording. And Mr. Pastry got on the set and raised a laugh or two when he smashed something, and this went to his head. And he went around the set and he smashed and pushed every bit of scenery down.
Yeah. I wonder what he's doing. Jill, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Bruce.
Well, what are you doing with yourself?
Well, various things. I've been donating my time to certain services, giving lectures and public speaking exercises, working out what I actually want to do, which is sort of, I think at this stage, looking like it's going to be an amalgam of things, like working in different mediums.
Right.
But trying to stay true to actually what I want to do, which is fairly seriously based, which is hard when you're committed to actually staying in the one city.
Yes, it is. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It's very exciting for you.
Yes, isn't it?
Yes, you know, you've got a big network, so you can carry it off.
And you've got a pretty big network, haven't you? With the hairdressing.
Remember once they offered you and me a job?
Yes, I remember.
We were going to do a radio show together.
I think it was an afternoon show.
Yes, a radio show.
Yeah, it never
What
came.
happened?
I don't know what happened. But you've had a marvellous career in Melbourne, haven't you? It's a great city, Lillian, isn't it?
I love it. I wouldn't live anywhere else in the world. I love Melbourne.
Lillian can talk, but I do recall on that day she had been kept waiting upstairs for about 14 hours. Do you remember that?
And had a cab with the meter running.
Yes, yes, I remember that.
Bruce, do you remember when you took the 3AW program to Channel 9?
Oh yes, we were invited down there by Frank Holden and we had a special. Phil and I had a special coming up on the 9 network, and to promote it they asked us to go down to in Melbourne tonight and do the show from the studios, and this was the result.
No, I've given up playing my instruments, and yeah.
Weren't you in the Freaked Out Flower Children?
Indeed, yes.
That's what I remember, yeah. And what are you doing on IMT tonight?
I'm chatting with Frankie, mainly about the castle, because that comes out on the 10th of April. And also, I dare say we'll probably have a bit of a chat about working for the Melbourne Theatre Company, because we work together.
Oh, really?
Was that on the 17th?
Yeah, he was Roo, yeah.
Yes. Sophie, lovely of you to drop by and say hello to us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Sophie Lee. I know.
Oh, go on, reminisce about Channel 10.
Well, Channel 10, we used to do serials.
Oh, God.
We used to drive up to Ballarat. Remember the Ballarat show we did years ago?
Oh, they were, Bruce. Are you still married, by the way?
Yes, I am.
That's
Why
quite
do you ask that in
amazing.
the same
Well, after those trips to Ballarat,
Well,
I just...
How dare you? What are you insinuating? Go and do your river dance and Denise Drysdale.
Thanks for having me.
It was lovely.
We'll see you later.
Oh, that was a great night. And after the chat with the stars there, we raced down to Studio 9 and did an interview across Australia on IMT. It was a good night.
We've had some big names on the program, Bruce, over 100 episodes.
Well, didn't we take the show? Didn't we take Optus Local Vision to the casino?
Well, I think we got a bit more game after that.
Well, we did.
The cameras around. Have a look at who we saw on the opening night of Jurassic Park at the casino.
That was a great show. Remember? Let's have a look. Opening night of Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and outside Planet Hollywood. Who should I stumble over, literally, than John Wood from Blue Heelers. Hello, John.
How are you, Bruce?
Enjoy the show up there tonight?
Oh, yeah, it was a sequel.
Yeah, well, in saying so, do you think it is tarnished a little?
Look, it was a lot of fun, but I think it's interesting. He's actually plagiarised himself a lot. There's an awful lot of the original Jurassic Park and an awful lot of Raiders of the Lost Ark and all sorts of things in there. But
Jimoein, I'd like to know whether you've seen many monsters and movies like this in your time?
I've seen some monsters, some shockers. I didn't enjoy it at all, to be honest.
Oh, well, that is honest.
Perfectly honest, I didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed the first one, but this one was just...
What movies?
You want me to go into it? I'll tell you why I didn't like it.
You do that very, very well, I think. Oh, yes, you did that. That was good money. But,
yeah, haven't been paid yet, though.
Well, give them an invoice on the day. Merv Hughes is here. Excuse me, Darren. Good to see you. Merv, how'd you enjoy the show?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I saw unlike Darren, I saw the first one at the cinemas. I think it's fairly hard to follow up with a sequel, but I'm pretty impressed with it.
What impressed? Rob Gell from Channel 9 News. Rob, what did you think of the show?
Scary.
Yeah, really, genuinely scared, and you're a tall, grown man.
Not as big as a Tyrannosaurus Rex, though, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look, it's great. The modelling's fantastic. I was just saying to Red Simons, I was a bit disappointed that there wasn't a little bit more ethics in science in it, which the first one really had, and left it open whether or not they were going to.
It'd be fantastic. Hi, there's a camera in here too.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're ever fans of yours too, Bruce and Phil. Yeah.
Good, Dipper.
Because the last time you were in, you had the restaurant up in Sydney Road, Carl.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now you're making your way to Planet Hollywood.
I certainly am. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
And listen, give my love to Mum, will you?
I certainly will.
Because she and I were going to go into business in the spaghetti bolognese sauce.
Sauces and yeah, that's the Uncle Roy days.
That's right. That's right.
Always try and make a quid. Always.
Okay. I'm just grabbing John Blackman by the escalators on his way home.
It's the up escalator or the down escalator, Bruce. How are you?
Depends. How are you? All right?
I'm very well, thank you. Gee, that was a pretty exciting movie, that one.
Did you like it?
Yeah, well, it's not my cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. I thought the special effects were a bit relentless. I think a few.
What, a bit gory? Or
a little bit, yeah, a little bit gory, and it was a bit long too. I actually finished up with a megasaurus at the end of it.
Do you know John didn't see the original Jurassic Park? You'd be the only person who hasn't.
No, that's right. I saw this one about these prehistoric pigs called Jurassic Pork, but I don't know whether you actually
You never changed. You have not changed in 10 years. You've never had a straight conversation with this bloke ever.
No, but it was very, very good, and Village should be congratulated too, especially for the very comfy seats. They are very comfy. You can actually lean back. It's like being in first class, Bruce. Although you don't get up there.
Oh yes, I do. Now I do.
But it was very comfortable, and the surround sound was just great when those little blighters were nipping and
who, the usherettes?
No, the tiny little baby dinosauruses.
Yes.
Dinosauruses. When they were nipping and the guy threw a rock at them, they'd all scatter everywhere, and you'd hear them going around behind you and everything. Either that or it was Yvonne Norris with a packet of popcorn.
She was kissing you.
Oh, you never know, Bruce, in that theatre.
Listen, how's
Phil, sorry.
your golf going?
Oh, very good.
I keep reading about you. You love the game. You played as much as possible.
Yes, as I played yesterday and had more hits than Bing Crosby, but still going okay.
Just tell me how good or bad you are. I don't want these corny gags.
I'm off 16.
Yeah.
I talk off 3 and dress off 27.
And what about the fags?
I'm sorry?
You know, looking at that casino, OB, I don't believe there's any other television station in Australia that could have poached just about every other television star.
Well, Bruce, you've had John Blackman from Channel 9, Jennifer Hansen, the Channel 10 newsreader.
Yeah.
You've had Dipper John Wood from Blue Heelers from Channel 7. Anyone from SBS?
No, who's Jason Donovan's mother? Sue McIntosh?
Yes, she was ABC TV.
And 3MP.
And, well, not now.
No, she left, didn't she?
Yeah, just
What's
recently.
next?
Well, I guess on the SBS level, well, welcome now, David Ranieri.
Yes, our little football expert. He's been terrific for us, Mr., Mrs. and David Ranieri. Well, how were your predictions last week?
Yeah, pretty good.
Were they good?
Out of 8, yes.
Oh! I'm sorry. I didn't realise I'm chatting away with our footy expert David Ranieri, who has been with us for the 100 shows. Well, no, you started midway through, didn't you?
Yes, in about round 3.
And looking very smart. He's wearing his first long pants for the first time. We've seen 100 episodes in his short pants. Now he's got the long ones on. Congratulations, you're a man at last. Now let's go over to the set. Let's have a chat about the weekend round of football that we're about to enjoy, and make a few predictions. That isn't my umbilical cord, by the way. That is our microphone. Oh, Mrs. Ranieri. I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to oversee Mrs. Ranieri because she's been part of the shows for all that time. Mrs. Ranieri. Hello, Mr. Ranieri. Hello, Mrs. Ranieri.
Good evening, Mr. Mansfield.
Look at you two red robins, aren't you? A matching pair, eh?
Yes.
Good to see you, and thanks for your help. I'm just going back to just get my script, and we'll get our predictions for the weekend round of football. First of all, David, getting back to business in the 1997 AFL season, a few surprises. Tonight, Friday, July 11, North Melbourne versus Geelong. My thoughts are Geelong. What do you think, David?
Yes, I'll have to go Geelong there as well, Bruce, because these games are always very unpredictable. Both teams in great form. With Wayne Carey back for North Melbourne, they're slowly coming back. And North Melbourne should be over the bog heap 2 weeks ago with Sydney. Right. But I think Geelong have too much talent, so Geelong for me.
Geelong for you. Saturday, it sees Melbourne versus... Oh, no, who do you think? North Melbourne and Geelong?
North Melbourne for me.
Yeah, what about you?
I think I'll go for Geelong, actually.
All right, good on you, Mr. Ranieri. On Saturday, tomorrow, Melbourne versus Carlton. My thoughts are Carlton?
Yes, the luckless Demons had 2 wins, 11 losses. It's been a horror season for them. Carlton needing this victory because their percentage of 97 is not very good. But with Neitz and Schwartz coming back, and rumour has it that Kevin Sheedy may be going over to Melbourne next year, so a big surprise there. But Carlton should win.
Carlton for me as well. What do you think, Mrs. R?
I'll go for Carlton as well.
What do you have there?
Yeah, we just made a lovely custard tarts with all mixed fruit on top.
Well, aren't you lovely? Look at that from the Ranieris. Isn't that a beautiful pie? That's what is the ingredients, Mrs. Ranieri?
Oh, just some custard pie inside with some cream topping and some various fruits.
And kiwi fruit, by the way. Thank you very much. You're very kind and generous to us. What were we up to, David?
The Western Bulldogs and the Brisbane Lions.
Okay, Western Bulldogs for me. What do you think?
Yes, well, the last time these two teams met at the Widanova, it was 9-15 to 8-6 in favour of the Western Bulldogs. The Lions did well in the rain against the Pies last week, but the Bulldogs should get over the line just.
Carlton versus Fremantle. My thoughts are Collingwood versus Fremantle at Victoria Park. I'll go for Collingwood.
Yes, one of the last games at Victoria Park. In the last 10, Collingwood are 8 wins and 2 losses. Freo haven't won there at Victoria Park yet, but the hostile crowd of 28,000 should get the Pies over the line.
All right, so you're going for Collingwood. Who are you going for, Mr. Ranieri?
Collingwood, Mr. Mansfield.
What about you, Mrs. Ranieri?
Loyal, Collingwood.
And I will too. Adelaide versus St Kilda at Football Park. That's a night game on the weekend, and I'm going for Adelaide. What about you, David, very quickly?
Yes, well, the Crows are pretty unstoppable. A huge 75-point win, and the Crows should win.
Okay, Sunday, Sydney versus Essendon. My thoughts are Sydney. What do you think, Mr. Ranieri?
I think Sydney will do it.
David?
Yes, it was a draw last time these two teams met, but Sydney just by 4 points.
Okay, Richmond versus Hawthorn. Richmond for me.
Yes, but Hawthorn for me, 16-4 in the last 20 games.
All right, and finally, West Coast versus Port Adelaide. West Coast, my prediction.
Yes, West Coast by a mile there. Port Adelaide, a very good stride, and West Coast should bounce back from victory.
Okay, and that's our football coverage for this weekend, as it has been for the last 100 shows on Mansfield's Melbourne, with David Ranieri, and thank you, David, very much for joining us each time.
That's my pleasure.
We haven't got time for trivia tonight, our trivial quiz, but we'll do that next week. Okay, thank you. We'll take a break. This is Mansfield's Melbourne, 100th episode. Well, what a cavalcade of stars.
Oh, buddy,
no,
I'm back, and look who I have found.
No!
Mansfield, this is your life.
Goodness me!
Bruce,
how are you?
Bob Claven is his name, Bruce, if you forgot.
Bob Claven's name.
Thanks very much.
This is a dear friend of mine who used to do a radio show. We used to do 3AK together, didn't we, in the early days?
I was officially Bobby Barracuda on 3AK doing the fishing report.
Yeah, because you love fishing, don't you?
I told lies for nearly 5 years after that. Everybody thought I knew something about fishing.
Phil, we'd send Bob out to famous corners in Melbourne with a bag of mussels or crayfish, and he'd give it away.
And then I'd give out the fish prices. I still do that, I think.
Well, you two share a lot in common, because I work with him on radio, and also you.
Yes, but for years you were on 3INR together, weren't you? Community radio.
Yeah. Yes, I used to do the top 10 from the op shops. I used to go into the op shops around Melbourne and find out the best-selling record from each op shop.
And Bob, have you done television before?
No. What's this? Oh, there's cameras there.
So apart from your community radio, what do you do with yourself during the day, for example?
Oh, yes, thank you for that. I work for the Greensborough Picture Shop, of course. It's in Greensborough, where we do picture framing, and we do it extremely well. And we have a wonderful shop there.
Bob, incidentally, you may not know this, has a caravan up in... Right. Do you get up there often?
Not as often as I'd like to, Bruce, really. You know, I mean, I'd love to get up there and spend a few weeks fishing, but you see, the time factors involved. You see, I mean, that's a 3-hour drive up there, 3-hour drive back there. You can fly up there in 25 minutes, but it takes you an hour and a half to drive to the airport. So
Bobby's already invited me up to the caravan.
Yes.
Driving down today in a Tony White Daewoo. Yes, Bobby said, would you care for a weekend? Right.
You've never invited me.
No, I'm sorry about that, but you're welcome, Bruce. Of course you are.
Bob, I first met when he was no, you were delivering parcels.
No, I wasn't. I was working at Eaglemont Cellars. Selling
can we talk about that hold up? I don't think it's ever been brought up on television before.
Bob was there, and quite seriously, you had a butt rammed into the small of your back.
I stared straight down the barrel of a pistol. It was scary. And then I was marched across the road, and I finished up in the fridge.
With salamis hanging out.
And then you were there, Bruce. Now, you weren't actually involved in that portion of the
No, well, I came down from the bathroom. We just got to #1 in ratings.
Yeah.
And John Blackman had left, and I was working with Darren. And the following morning, the Sun had Mansfield in hold-up. And John Blackman said at the football that day, said, Mansfield will do anything to get back in there. And what actually what actually happened
furniture
was that I was hiding at the back of a grocery shop, and you were in the fridge.
I'd like to know, Bruce, how come now? I know this robber got away with some money, right? But we did a stock take straight afterwards, and there's 20 casks of white wine missing. now, how on earth can this robber, right, disappear with 20 casks of white wine?
I don't know about that. And what are you alluding to? Just come out and call me a thief?
Well, it seems very strange that you were alone in the shop for quite a while.
I'm going to tell you all about what happened, Bob. And do you, Phil?
You know I get excited when I'm on television, but that's ridiculous.
Thank you very much. See you later tonight.
I look forward to it,
on
Bruce.
3AW and Nightline. And the 100th episodes couldn't go to air without some of these memories. Would you say you're an alcoholic, or would she be?
No, we're not.
Is she in a retirement home, this one?
No way. No way.
So you're going for a wine, you go home legless, you stick on the peas, they bake burnt. What's your husband? Is he still alive, or did he do away with himself?
Certainly is.
and so when he comes home, you're very, hello, how are you?
No, I'm not.
So, as long as she can walk down my front steps, she's right.
And what are you doing, crawling around inside?
Yeah.
Do you drink very much?
Moderately. Not very much, no.
You're not shanty. And I think you'd have a bit of Christmas Day, I think.
No, I have a happy hour every night.
Strike, you are verging on alcoholic. Do you call it the Chardonnay hour or something? Come in. There's some visitors who have just arrived. Come over, please, and meet Alistair. These are guests from... Where are you from? Oh, do you live here, do you?
Yes.
Oh, what, do you pick the grapes, do you?
No, we just came to buy some of our very important customers.
Oh, nice to meet you. We're doing a program for Optus Vision all around the Goulburn Valley, including many of the villages.
Oh, we've been shopping and just thought we'd pick up some wine on the way home.
What do you buy? What do you like?
Arthur likes port, don't you? Yes, port.
Do you drink a lot?
No, not a lot.
You spill most of it. You'll make friends with Sylvia and Peter Lloyd, and they live in the house at the front. The villas are at the back, and they're in Millgrove. Millgrove, what street?
River Road.
River Road, Millgrove, up near, well, the Snow, Warburton, Upper Yarra, the vineries, the vineyards.
Heaps of wineries and vineyards.
And you
coming all the time.
You know a lot about that. Goodbye from Millgrove.
There's a lot in it down at the Mornington Peninsula, isn't there?
It certainly is. I don't know what it is, but I think it's in the water.
Bruce, we've got some interviews lined up from some of your favourite shows throughout the 100 episodes.
Oh, great.
Who have your favourites been?
Well, I think there'd be about 3 or 4. There'd be Ron Cadee. There would be what was his name? You know that
Terry Norris.
Terry Norris and his wife Julia Blake.
And the man from IMT. The comedy writer.
Johnny Ladd.
Do you want to have a look at them?
I'd love to. Please. Southeastern Freeway, do you remember that?
I do indeed.
Now, you were against it, weren't you?
No, I was in favour of it.
Well, he was against it when we lived in the inner suburbs. And then he became a member of Parliament. He was representing the people further out. He obviously had to represent their interests, and they were in favour of it.
You sat in front of bulldozers and everything, didn't you, to stop that freeway?
Oh, well, originally possibly. but when it was eventually opened, I was cheering.
Oh, yeah.
Because my constituents wanted it. In a fairly political household with my father, who was a radical boilermaker, and my mother, who was an Irish Catholic conservative. So we had lots of arguments over the dinner table, you know, over the sort of meat and 2 veg.
Meat and 1 veg, you were very poor.
That's right, meat and 1.
John, what are you doing these days? Is the
gardening.
Oh. What's your specialty?
Flowers.
Yes, but is there a particular strain?
No. Only a strain on the back.
Yeah.
No strain at all.
Well, there's nothing...
I love flowers. I have flowers in the house the whole time.
Any favourites?
Roses.
Yeah.
Love roses.
Mm.
But, of course, those are just finishing now, and I'm just having a bit of a dig round.
So are you
inundated with possums?
Oh, I can't stand them.
At the moment.
They grab your quinces and then your...
Well, they haven't grabbed my quinces because I keep in the cupboard.
Oh, good on you. I'm not in the cupboard with Johnny Ladd. Thank you very much, my dear friend.
We work together at KZ, so
a few years ago
I
now.
did turntables for you at KZ. I was your panel operator on some breakfasts, and you'd come in with your pyjamas on. It was so early.
Well, I often hear you with Philip talking about those days of drawing tats. When it was Tattersalls.
That's right.
And they'd have me doing the reading in the morning to say, right, it's 9:30, we're crossing over. You know, I'd never forget the voice. And I would go down there in pyjamas and an overcoat and draw out all the balls. It was hilarious. And the head of Tats, he said, oh, you slept in this morning? I said, yeah, every morning. It was the same. Brekkies were, oh, well, you've done them, you know.
Oh, I know what it's like. You never get used to getting up, do you, to do that breakfast show?
Well, I was never in a compass state of mind to sort of get up. I never knew where I was. The taxi driver would come in and he'd say, you've got to do it. You're on. And I'd be dressed as different various things. One night there was the ball down at the Palais de Dance, and I went as a nun. And of course...
Gee, they're great, those. And they weren't just three of my favourites. They've all been terrific, the guests, but they're just a little smattering of some of our friends.
Well, Bruce, I guess you don't have to be in showbiz to make yourself a star on Mansfield, Melbourne.
Look at you.
We've had some very busy people of enterprise in. Do you remember Oliver Spurway?
Oh, dynamic.
Yep. The man from A Above Board Car Cleaning.
Gee, was he interesting.
And the bath restorer.
Oh, they were marvellous. Have a look at these high achievers. A good choice, do you believe? And this is where we had...
yes, I think it's a good choice. It's a good location, and we got some very exciting dishes.
Yes, there's Bruce and Phil and Nadia. And is that Peter, your waiter? Yes, with you.
That is Michael, yes.
What type of foods are you preparing?
It's mostly international cuisine food.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fine international cuisine. And there are some very creative and very exciting dishes.
You've got top chefs working
We've got top chefs here working for us, and they enjoy cooking. Yes, I think Turak Road South here is doing very, very well.
Yes, yes.
I think a lot of people seem to congregate over there.
Yeah.
And to do, especially what to do with the Colma building, you know, there is a lot of people, very well-known people that come over.
In Port Melbourne, you'll be looking at a totally different clientele.
Oh yes, we do. Port Melbourne, we have a different clientele. They're mostly executive style, you know, people that come to our shop in Bay Street, Port Melbourne.
Yeah.
And we've been there for 10 years now.
Well, for a person that's dined there with Ash, the producer of this program, we had a great night and enjoyed your marvellous company.
That was beautiful.
Yes, it was.
It was nice to have you.
So we commend to you Nadia's restaurant. Here's the man to do it for you, Jeff Simpson. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
How do you do?
Good. Jeff is from A Above Board Car Care Detailing Service.
That's correct.
It's quite a long title. Jeff, what does it imply?
Well, A Above Board is above everything else.
Right.
So we believe.
So the service, you give a car that extra special look.
Well, we try to do our best. We seem to spend a lot more time on the vehicles.
Yes.
Actually, what we want to do is try and give people what they're paying for.
All right. So I bet you see some dreadful cars.
We do have some nasty ones, but there are a couple of easy.
So you can make any car look like new. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Basically for resale value, or we do have clients that do come in on a regular basis, whether it be monthly or fortnightly.
What sort of cost would a full detail be, Jeff?
Depending on.
So the young people would love that in their homes, wouldn't they?
Many of the people that have bought bars off me would be 25 to 30.
25 to 30. Well, that's the age group you want. Give us your address and your phone number. Now, you told me you couldn't remember it. You'd remember it now.
That's right. The address is Factory 15, 595 Chandler Road, Keysborough. The phone 9769 1335.
You're a magnificent human being and a compere coming up in the very near future. Keith Gregory, thank you very much indeed. Talking there about antique baths and the number. We've had a few laughs and a few tears with a lot of people over the years, haven't we, Ash, on the show?
Bruce, it's been terrific over the episodes. Who are what are the things you don't like working with?
Well, I suppose there's an old adage in show business, never work with children or animals, and I think the latter is the one that I'm not too partial to.
The latter. Now, the former and the latter. That's the last one.
That's the animal.
That'd be the animals.
The animals.
Well, we've been down to Ace High.
Yes.
Right.
Horses. Remember the dog that...
the guide dog.
Can we have a look at those?
Okay.
Let's see them. Hi, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Swine of a thing.
No, no, just...
Hello there. Oh, my giddy aunt. Oh, hello, how are you? We're at the Ace High riding school with Tony, and it's feeding time.
Good afternoon, Bruce. Good afternoon, Bruce.
You're good. You may hear some flutes in the background, and you're having a class of flautists up there.
Yes, we've got the Fintona Girls' School here on the music camp for the weekend.
Oh, that's nice. And do you take them riding? Do they go riding?
They'll take some riding tomorrow and Sunday. If their timetable permits them, yes, we hope to get them out on some riding. So, but I'm having a bit of a struggle here with these horses at the moment. You'd think they'd never been fed in their life.
What's your trouble? Don't you feed them, or?
Oh, not me. I pay staff to do that as a rule, and
I thought you paid your daughter.
No, Hayley.
What's her name? Hello, Hayley.
Hayley.
Hi.
You remember Hayley Mills in the movies?
In the movies, yes, I did that.
Was she named after Hayley Mills?
Not particularly, no.
Have you got a horse?
Yes, I have two.
Do you?
Yes.
What's their names?
Basil and Mistral.
Oh, right. Mistral is a fan, isn't it?
Mistral's a fan, yeah, as in... yeah, that's right.
So, just...
Basil's out of Faulty Towers, which I think we are at the moment.
Tell us about the horses, will you? Well, look at Paulie.
78 horses here on the property at the moment, and we take a variety of rides. We take a 1 hour trail ride for beginners, a 2 hour forest ride for the people that can ride, and then we've got a 3 hour ride that goes down to St Andrews Beach.
Oh, that's quite a way, isn't it?
And yeah, that's 3 hours in the saddle. And
can they be obnoxious? Not people riding them, but the horse.
Well, yes. No, not allowed to say that, Bruce.
No, Sheba, I'm all right.
Yeah, as you can see, we might move forward. I think.
I can't stand them, mate. Anyway, they are a lovely animal. And well, I say never work with animals, but after having worked with Ash Long, I understand what they mean. But isn't she the most beautiful dog? This is one of the guide dogs that we're looking for walkers. But to tell us more about it, we have...
delivered, there's an agreement form which is signed, and it states one of them is that at the end of the 12 months, the dog has to come back in for training. So
it's an agreement.
So it's an agreement.
A business-like agreement.
Definitely.
They know from day one that they have to give the dogs back, but at the end of the 12 months they can certainly get another one and do it all over again.
So do you work for the guide dogs? I'll give a phone number now. The number is 9854 4444. I just shifted this tail. 9854 4444. The guide dogs. I think it loves me. If you would like to become a puppy walker, I'd love to become a puppy walker, and you can too. Thank you very much. Do you ever forget those? Oh, they were marvellous.
You almost got flung into the next paddock.
Nearly did. I think I've injured my neck because of that horse. Do you realise that?
Oh, but that's a problem.
It wasn't just the studio guests that were terrific and some of the setups around the place, but I thought it was always good when we took the cameras out to the people.
It was only a week ago, but do you remember the opening at the Flinders Pier?
It must have been 3 degrees below zero, but we met a marvellous little boy. Have a look at this. What did you catch? Nothing. What were you trying to catch?
Nothing. No, we're not fishermen.
Where have you been? What were you doing? What have you been doing all day?
Bugger all, Bruce.
Oh, good.
When I stabbed the knife in one and now there's all blood in a bucket.
Oh, who's going to their place for tea? Not me. Will you have a look? Oh, yeah? In the bucket there. Gee, that'll be a feast and a half. Oh, the kids will love it anyway. Do you live around here?
Yeah, we do.
Good.
Yeah.
You out of work or you got a job?
No, we're just on holidays.
Oh, that's nice.
We've got a job. We're on holidays.
Good on you. Yeah. Where do you come from?
Rosebud.
Oh, well, you've come a nice long way from home, haven't you? All right. Have a lovely time with the children. Bye-bye, kids. Ta-da. Nice to meet you. Very nice people who are on holiday down here at Flinders. Moving on, this is probably the most famous pier, and the last one of its type surviving. There's a pier at St Kilda, similar to this, but there was one at Seaford up until 6 months ago that was bulldozed. How are you? Have you caught a fish today? No. Have you been trying to catch the fish?
No.
You've just gone for a walk, have you?
Yes, I'm not catching fish.
No, what are you doing?
Well, I was walking along the pier.
Yeah, with your dog?
Yes.
What's his name?
She's a girl, she's called Dixie.
Dixie, that's nice. And what's your name?
Dean.
Dean, you're on television at the moment. And everybody's seeing you in Melbourne. All right? Yes. Would you like to say something to them?
Yes.
What would you like to say to everyone listening and watching?
Do you ever caught a fish?
Yes, I have.
Do you ever know how to catch one?
Yes, you put the hook in the line and you reel it out, don't you?
Yes. You do that. You're supposed to. If you don't, you won't catch a fish.
He's lovely, isn't he? Lovely to meet you. Bye-bye.
Further on tonight's show, Bruce, we were looking down Mornington at some of the places where we've been. But it didn't all go properly. Do you remember being in an arcade in Mornington?
Oh, yes, I do. Watch this. Penny farthing heirlooms, old world antiques, furniture, stripping. They strip here, well, furniture stripping, sandblasting. They sell antique jewellery, old wares. Anything that's old is new again. Do you shop here at Penny farthing heirlooms?
No.
Here's another satisfied customer. You really can't. You're meeting Melbourne in the most interesting possible way, and that's on the road. There's no editing here. We don't stop the camera, we just keep going. And we're meeting some fascinating people. Hello, how are you? Do you know who I am?
No, I don't, and I don't.
Bruce Mansfield is my name. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We're just saying hello to a few people, and it's nice to get rebuffs occasionally because I think that makes you stronger and tougher. Any young person listening, have the kick in the teeth. It's good for you. Hello. Doing all right here?
We're all shopping at the moment. It's been good up until the last couple of weeks, but it just died in the backside, to put it quite frankly. But I've got a bit of leaflet drop and a bit of advertising just to what we
won't mention that, Eric.
No, don't talk that. So everything's going 100.
Everything's going well.
5 seconds.
Right. We give the number again for people who are a bit slow.
0357985291. 0357985291. 0357985291. 57985291.
Yes, and you're exactly located. What a couple. Well, that's it. The party's over. It's been a great hour, but it's been better than that. It's been a wonderful 100 shows being with you every night. The party finishes and the piper must be paid. And we thank you for your company each night at 6 o'clock, and to the people who in the back room have brought you all the laughs and the highs, the tears and lows of Mansfield, Melbourne in the last 100 shows. Thank you, Andrew, for all you've done.
Not a problem.
Warwick, Vision Mixer Extreme, and to Christy there in audio. Give us a wave, Christy. A good team who have done a great job in 100 shows, and we thank you. Any special effects lined up for me? A real treat.
There we go.
Isn't that from me?
We've got some strobe and some nigger is his effect on it.
Isn't that great? I'm getting a bit of feedback too. All right, let's go back to normal.
All right.
Thanks for the great days. Thank you. And we thank you, the viewer, who made it all possible, because without you, your interest, we couldn't possibly have done the show, and that makes it all worthwhile. So, as we said before, the party's over, and maybe it's the beginning of another great 100 shows. Goodbye.
Congratulations,
Thank you so very much indeed. And that's it. We started here an hour ago, and that's where we're closing. Thank you, Ash Long, too, for all you've done. You've been a great friend and a great workmate. And that's it. That was the 100 shows in our city. Good night. Mansfield's Melbourne is brought to you by... I'm sorry, take two. Mansfield's Melbourne. Oh, this is stupid. Yes, it's wonderful. Well, if I can get it out. It's a great idea. 3, 2, 1. Mansfield. Sorry, I can't do it. Okay. Mansfield's Melbourne, proudly brought to you by Choice Dry Cleaners. Mansfield's Melbourne, proudly brought to you by Choice Dry Cleaners for the removal of stains, spots and blemishes. Opposite Safeway in Walpole Street Q. Blemishes.